Hello to the people. I am your host, Fatty,
And I'm your host, Cakes.
and I want to welcome you. We want to welcome you to the Fatty Cakes podcast, the very first film Fatty Cakes podcast at that. We live, y'all. We in the building virtually, but we are definitely in the building.
Yes. So, first things first, challenge check in.
The growth challenge. First, I want to know if y'all went out and got y'all journals and y'all ballpoint pens. I got mine. I got my pen. Because from this episode, you definitely gonna need to write something down. You gonna need to learn something. You gonna need to make some notes so you can go back, get it together. So right now, in this moment, go run and get it. If you gotta go get it, make or in your notes.
We give you 5 seconds.
In your notes, you can put it in your notes because um talking about notes, let's talk about the growth challenge because me and Shauna has been holding each other accountable in our notes. So if you are doing the growth challenge with a friend, or if you just want to put it in your notes because it's convenient, we always got our phones on us 24/7. But I shared the note with Shauna, and we can see each other's progression through week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's dope. So that's a great idea. To
Right. I
just
encourage other people to do that too. Like, if you're doing this with somebody else, do the same thing. Because how we know you really growing or if you lying?
how we know.
Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna
So
know.
what's your growth challenge? Your long term growth.
My long-term growth is for me to get better at communicating because we all know that's my weak spot. And to learn how to let things go. So if it's not serving me, then what about you?
And that letting go is big on your energy, so I like that. Um I actually have two long term goals. Extra, I know. But my first one is vocalizing my feelings unapologetic unapolog unapologetically. Oh my goodness.
You look like you're having a stroke.
So, vocalizing my feelings unapologetically.
Right, friend.
There we are. Whew. Yeah. So, because often, I don't express my feelings because I feel bad for making somebody else feel bad, and I gotta stop doing that
But
because that's
why though?
not. Let me get back to you on that because I have to really internalize that and then I'm just a charismatic person.
Mm-hmm.
And, I always take care of people before I take care of myself. But,
It's the Virgo in you.
but getting to my second long term challenge, love all of me more. Put me first. So when I say, I mean love all of me, even the parts that I do not like, the insecurities, love all of that. So those are my two goals. And I've been working towards one. I've been working towards the love all of me because today actually I took a nice shower and I just washed my hair and I talked to myself in the shower yeah, you love your hair. Just I was talking to myself,
I feel it.
making myself feel good about myself, and when I got out of the shower, I was in a great mood. So, yeah, I gave myself a pep talk in the shower while washing my hair.
I
Great.
feel it. That's a good
So,
start.
your short-term goals. What is your weekly goal this week for the Grow
Drink
Challenge?
more water. I need to drink more water. Water is so boring, but I need to drink more water. So I did today. I drank 2 liters.
Oh, well, I got mine right here. This is the first bottle
Well,
that
now
I
I'm
drank
drinking juice
today.
because I drank my water today.
Yeah.
But
Um, but my weekly goal this week is to get some more work done at my actual job, like to actually work. So
right, because we've been at
I I've been, like real focused on the podcast lately, and I've been putting my official work on the back burner a little bit. So I'm caught up now, and my weekly goal is to do some work with my job every single day this week. And so far, right now, I'm 2 for 2. So I'm doing good with my
girlfriend.
growth challenge. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So the media, let's talk about it real quick before we get into the nitty gritty and the
Wait, wait, wait.
of this episode.
Ti and Tiny, what the hell y'all got going on? What the hell? This came out of left field. Like I
It
wouldn't
did. Like,
be anybody else but them. Like I would
COVID
rather
was
hear the
quiet.
Kardashians have a sex ring than Ti and Tiny. Because why? Why are y'all doing
COVID was quiet.
right?
And one day, boom. How do you feel about it though? Do you think
I believe that shit. I believe that.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it for and I have my reasons for not believing it, but again, I think with this episode we going to learn, about getting into the inside of people because I mean, and the reason why I can't believe it is because what they portray and they don't give me them kind of vibes at all,
A lot of
especially
people don't get
how
that kind of vibe.
he was
They
super
think they
protective.
better.
But listen, you saw how he was protective of his daughter.
Because he know there's people out there like him. Like he know there's people out
Okay.
there like him. Like, okay, I know I'm like this, so let me make sure I'm protecting what's her name, Deja, from being a whore or doing whatever she might
Okay.
do.
You got a point. You got a point. But just him being a black father, I just cannot. And them just having daughters themselves, I cannot see.
Girl, this don't surprise me. I don't know why. Like, I'm shocked that it's them, but just the
I
situation
don't believe it.
itself. Like, with the age we in, come on now. Like, that people been trying new stuff, but now it's just starting to get out. Like, it is what it is. I just
I
think
don't believe it.
maybe
I just cannot believe it.
maybe it's not as big as it may seem since it's being pushed out on the media because the media got a way of blowing stuff out of proportion. So
Right.
maybe it's not as big as we think it is, but I still believe that it might be somewhat true. Because we need to ask Bernice Burgos because didn't he cheat on Tiny with her? Like we need to ask her. We need to scoop sis. Like, did he pay you? What was what's
I
the
don't know. Listen, I I plead the fifth. I don't have anything else to say. They are
I mean, I wish them luck at their trial. If they are innocent, then I wish them.
innocent and proven guilty, most definitely. I got to bring out my degree now. So until we got
Criminology.
and listen, until we got more than allegations. Next, what's next in the media?
The baby and Danny Lay broke up. Oh my gosh, what a surprise.
That was fast.
I'm not shocked at all. Like,
I
not
am.
really. And then
I
like
just
using her.
why?
Because then she buy him 2 cars.
Now that part I did not know. But I mean, he got his own money though.
Cars with somebody else. Was from somebody else. But he only got her a cake. Like, why is you getting him 2 cars and he only got you a cake? And your birthday was before his. Like,
Maybe it's today.
I'm like, here's a pair of shoes, or here's a shirt.
Maybe it's today.
Who knows?
But
He gonna be with his baby mama soon enough.
and they or either they gonna be together or she gonna make whomever life a living hell. And and to think that this shit really going on in Charlotte.
True. I forgot he was
Yes.
Atlanta.
So it's kind of like some local, but
Yeah. But I like
I just
her though.
watched.
Like she pretty. But Danny Lay made herself seem like a dummy because you done went and made this stupid song about how he liked yellow bones or whatever you was saying. Like, girl, you
I
should
didn't even
just
hear
left
that.
that. You should just left that in the closet or left it, you know, in the studio where you recorded it and just let him hear it if that was for him, because now you just look crazy. And then she went onto her social media and posted like some type of quote about God removing people from your life. And I'm just like, I just find it funny, like how all of a sudden God is just the center of all after this. Like he's
Well,
the center now. You should have been looking at God when you was with him, outside of him, when it's just you. Like, but
I
what?
just honestly found out. I'm gonna keep it real. I just honestly found out that they were dating like 3 weeks ago. Whenever me and Chad was watching a video of a song that I think maybe he dropped, and she was all up in the cheese and like happy to be by his side. And I'm like, okay, sis, because it's not even that serious, and now they ain't even together. And she was real extra, heavy on the extra in the video. But I'm all for it, sis. That's your man. Was is are they pending? Do
That
y'all know? Let us know.
okay. Well, okay, this one. The girl who put gorilla glue in her hand. What the hell was you thinking?
That has to be the most trending topic right now. And to be trying to sue Gorilla Glue,
Now that part, I was just like, ma'am, gorilla glue and hair gel are not even in the same department. So I don't
but
know how
listen
you're
though,
gonna go about explaining the case, because she was like, "Oh, it's very misleading." So you didn't see, like, you just don't read the stuff that you pick up when you go to the store to put whatever in your head. Like, come on now, you clout
and
chasing.
in the beginning, I was trying to give sis the benefit of the doubt.
True.
You know, I'm like, well, maybe she thought it was a gorilla snot. You know, maybe she. But when she said I ran out of, I'm like, all right then. It's, no, that's just ignorant. And I'm not calling her ignorant. I'm just saying that she was ignorant to that situation. That because that was stupid. That was stupid, and that bring back horrible memories. So,
Reading is fundamental.
mm,
Reading is
very.
fundamental. And I'm sorry, but I really, 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 really like I almost died laughing at her, especially that part when she was like, "It don't move. It don't move." And I was just like her
Look,
teeth sound like
look,
paper.
look. Somebody look
It
at
don't
it.
move. And then wiping it
See,
out. It don't move. It don't move.
right.
Just start
Ooh,
over, sis.
yeah.
We praying for you. Hopefully the acetone and the sterile water don't burn too much. So
And I'm definitely waiting on the results from her.
oh, I saw a post today. Dang, I meant to send it to you, but I saw a post today. Like, she just might as well start over. Like, your hair is damaged for the rest of your life. The surface of it is damaged for the rest of your life. So you just might as well just cut it all off, go bald, and start over. I did it. Anybody can do it.
I'm thinking about it. But go ahead. The Crybaby challenge.
What
You
is
gonna
your
do it?
favorite challenge?
My favorite challenge right now that's out.
Go
But
ahead.
it's so cool. I just be randomly just be like going through the house. Well, not we could just be sitting on the couch and I just look at Chad and be like, bitch. He be like, all right. And
Like, why
I'm
are you
like,
like,
no, you supposed to say Corvette, Corvette. Like, come on. My love language.
right? Like, know me. Cause why
but
are you acting like this?
but so far that's been in my head real heavy lately. I don't know why.
Correct, correct.
But my favorite challenge, is the Crybaby. And I'm gonna have to say it's the Crybaby only because that video is dope.
The video is
I
dope.
just
I don't like the challenge.
but every time I hear the song, whenever I see the challenge, I get the visual of like from the video because that video was dope. It's
The
been a
video
lot of
was
dope
dope.
videos dropping lately during COVID. Like they've
Right.
been doing their
Cardi
thing with
B.
the music videos. Most
Cardi B
definitely.
and her up video.
Yeah. Good graphics and up. Most definitely. Shout
Hmm.
out to Cardi
And
for that.
outfits. Like, she be bringing
That's it. That was a nice video.
it was. I think, I don't know, my favorite might be busted because, like, girls really be looking busted on them cameras. And then when they busted, I be like, this looks like a totally different person. But I'm here for it, sis.
Wait,
'Cause you're pretty.
wait, wait a minute. So the busted challenge. If y'all did not see my dog busted challenge, please make sure you watch Mocha busted challenge because he definitely has a
Now,
busted
tune in
challenge.
to Mocha. Shout out to Mocha.
His June book challenge is loading. But yeah, I like
So,
no. But when it comes to like my entertainment, the June book challenge because these shits been funny. They
people
been
don't even
funny.
be doing it right. Like, some people be stiff or just be looking. Like, I be like, what is this? This ain't it, sis. This ain't it.
Yeah, that's it.
But, so yours is the crybaby. I don't know.
Yeah,
That dance look mad aggressive. Like all
it
this and
is.
swinging and
I
like,
like it.
mm-mm.
I like it.
It remind me of one of our cheer dances. It do.
Which one?
I can't think of the name of it, but I think it was to a Nicki Minaj song. Step up in the party like my name was that. You remember that dance?
I don't remember the dance.
I can't remember.
What was the
But
dance? I do not remember the dance.
another topic for another day. Last but not least, Chloe Bailey and her body. I don't like how social media is trying to like pick her apart because first, she's grown. Second, she's grown. And third, she is grown. Like, if she want to get on social media and she want to like dance or show off her curves, let her do that. Y'all don't be saying that about nobody else. What's the difference?
I plead the fifth because again, I don't think anything is wrong. I mean, I look at her and say body goals, so I don't see the damn problem.
Okay.
So I don't have anything to
Looking at
say.
both of us, shoot, I'm trying to be shaped like that. Like,
She's gorgeous to me. Both of
yes,
them,
her
especially in
and
Grownish. I love them in Grownish. If y'all don't watch
yes,
Grownish, please watch Grownish.
yes,
It makes me
same.
want to go back to college so bad because we didn't do it right. Well, we did, but not like that. I want to do it like that.
Fortunately, I didn't go to college in person, so I don't have the experience. The only experience I have is an Air Force base in Japan. That was my college.
Y'all, well, here are the laughs. But now we're about to get into the real, the raw, the uncut. I told y'all, look, I got my tissue. I'm ready because it's about to get deep. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all. Shauna and Chad. And if y'all don't know who Chad is, that's my
Yes,
man.
we didn't
That's
say
my
that in our
man.
last.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's my man. And y'all see this back here? My man did this. All of this. So shout out to my man. This set right here, yeah, my man did this. So thank you, baby. But
We didn't mention
they
that.
had to
Yeah.
force
Eric is
me
my husband.
to
Chad is her man. I forgot about that. We didn't mention that.
get ready to do this episode. So
It's a
here we
part of
are.
the growth, man.
Let's just let's just dig in. So the first things first, I want you guys to think about why family is important. What is the importance of family? Why do you think family is important, Shauna?
I think family is important because family is like your foundation. So like from when you're younger up until now, like family is who you learn from, who provides for you, everything you know up until you get to a point where you can do for yourself and create your own. So I feel like family is very important because your family is the foundation for everything else. And if you ain't got no foundation, then nothing ain't standing.
Hmm.
That's why family is important to me.
family is important to me because the one thing that I've learned is that no matter how dysfunctional family may be, like no matter how toxic family may be, family always is like family is the one who always show up
Mm,
when you really really need them to show up.
the right one.
And and honestly, and I'm not gonna say all family because all family don't, but family like that word, family show up whenever they like whenever you really really need them to. Family always show up, and to me, that's just like what's important. Like that's what means the most to me is
Mm,
showing up, and you get that a lot with family, and family is important. Like, but a healthy family. But we're gonna
definitely.
get into that. So that's just like the importance of family. But I really want you guys to think about, like the importance of family and what it really means to you because I'm big on family. Like I love the big family. I'm big on that. I'm big on family.
What about family and boundaries?
That's where it gets
Because
deep.
family don't always know their boundaries. Like I feel like some family is way too involved. For example, let's say like a mom and her son and his relationships. Like I feel like at some point as a mom, you got to be able to let your son be his son, be your son, and be on his own. Like he'll find love eventually, and you probably want to protect him through all of that. But I really think some people just need to stay in their place and realize that there are boundaries, but it's also up to us to set those boundaries to say like, okay, you need to take a step back or you need to get out my business because I'm trying to do something on my own. So stay away from me for a little while. I need to get my stuff together without the help of you for once.
So boundaries are important because first of all, when you don't have any, people think that they can run all over you and
Mm-hmm.
be all in your space, be all in your spot, and that's not cool. And just like Shauna said, especially like boundaries with your parents, like in relationships, like that's big. And
Mm-hmm.
fellas, I understand that you a mama's boy, this, that, and the third, but it's some point, like your lady likes to feel like she's protected when it comes to your mom. So mamas are like, y'all got to back up a little bit from these boys for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no,
Push
don't be
up.
that.
Like, just cut
Yeah,
it
and
up.
then too, and another thing that's important about boundaries is when you let your family or just your inner circle, like people that you consider family, up into like your personal space, and you share things with them about, let's say, like your significant other. You may have forgiven them, but your family, they ain't gonna be ready to forgive, and so now you walking on eggshells trying to see like who you more loyal to, your partner or your family. So when it comes to like certain things, keep your family out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Boundaries. And I know you want to, like maybe vent, call your parents or just vent to somebody. I get that, but write it out because when it's time for like whenever you and your partner over it and y'all moving on, like y'all watching sunsets in Hawaii somewhere, and your mama or your daddy somewhere still mad because it's something he did last year and they ain't over it.
You know what it made me
Like
think
so,
of? That movie
what?
with Taraji P. Henson. It made me think of that movie. What was it?
Which one?
Where the dude like wasn't doing nothing in the beginning. They was married and
Acrimony.
yes. Remember how her sisters
Her
was all in her
sisters was
business?
all up in her shit.
And if she would have just stayed a little bit longer, she would have had all of
Oh,
that.
that movie is gonna be a great movie to analyze whenever we get into our relationship stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Let me write that down. Acrimony.
So I feel
But
like her sisters really filled her head up with a lot of stuff. She could have just, like, this is my marriage. To you, he might not look like he doing a lot. And that's fine. But to me, I know what's going on in my household. So if I want to stay, then that's what I'm gonna do. Because like the scene where she was signing the paper, you could tell she didn't want to leave.
listen, and that's what I was just about to say to you. Like, they pretty much forced her. Like, she really didn't want to go, but she felt guilty. And then
Mm-hmm.
again, and we're gonna get into that later on in this episode, but she felt guilty and chose someone else's happiness over her own.
Right.
And she did what she thought that they thought was right and not what she
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do. And again, that's boundaries, because had they not really knew what was going on within their personal biz, then
She probably would have been the one with the ring and the boat and everything else. I feel like patience was a big thing in that movie too, though. She just needs to be a little bit more patient.
but the only thing I have to say about that movie is don't get caught up on potential.
Whew. Say it again.
Don't get caught up on potential, because
Mm-hmm.
that's the only dilemma with that movie is what if she would have stayed and he turned out not to be shit, but oh, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. My machine is gonna work.
Right.
So you just gotta know. You gotta know.
I feel like she
Whew.
wasn't ready, but if she was ready, then I don't think that would have affected her as much because if she was ready, then that's how she felt at the time. So I don't think it would have affected her as much. But I think since she really was not ready, low key, she was like, "Oh, all of this is supposed to be mine," and I felt that because it's like, dang, sis, you went through the worst of it, but he gave you $2 million.
I would have went and bought my happiness somewhere else with another
That's what I'm
millionaire.
saying. Like I was like,
Cause
girl, you should have just went and bought your own house, car, moved out of the city, wherever you was gonna do. Like you could have found your
I just
happiness somewhere else, ma'am.
she is in the millionaire club. I would have been hanging with millionaire people, and I would have went and found
Surround
me another
yourself
millionaire.
in that energy. Yes, that part.
Period. And still being friends. Me, look, and he would have still been my friend because I would have been on his payroll, and we would have just been a
Cordial,
family.
baby.
Okay, keep it moving.
Cordial.
But to get into family ties and why we named this, well, what's your connection? Well, I know that I thought of family ties because it's just sometimes you have to cut ties with family as and listen, you can cut ties with family and still love your family.
I don't know. We did a lot of brainstorming for this episode because remember at first we wanted to call it generational curses.
Mhm.
But then we was like, well, there's more to it than just generational curses. So then that's when he was like, ooh, family ties.
Mhm.
So that I think generational curses is something that has been holding the Black community back on its own, outside of like oppression from white people or whatever the heck is going on. I feel like generational curses also plays a huge role into the reason why some Black people or families cannot be successful because of different learned behaviors that have not stopped.
And generational curses are like that topic alone is super broad. It's probably cycles that you don't even realize is a cycle that is just like keep happening and it's just swept under the rug, so it's become a norm. But generational curses are not norms, and we
Right.
need to stop normalizing generational
A
curses.
lot of the stuff,
Let
yeah.
Stop normalizing them. Like, it's not normal. And although it feels like it's your norm, like now is the time to like look into those things to see, like, damn, this is really not
Mhm.
my norm. Like, this is not okay. So we have a few that we're going to talk about, and again, it may be more out there, and we did use the feedback that we got back from our IG, so thank you for those who did do that. But The first one we're gonna talk about is single family homes.
Look, just to make sure nobody else.
Like,
Single family homes.
and I mean, I'm not a listen. I don't want to sound biased about it because I'm not against it. Like, I was raised,
Hmm.
well, like my mom is a single family. That that didn't even make sense. But anyway,
I get
yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah. Cause woo, like I just honestly I feel the emotions coming. But anyway, so it's not anything against it, but why we can't promote family?
Yeah.
Why we can't promote husband, wife, kids? Because that's the normal. And honestly, back in the day, that's what great great grandparents did. It
Not
won't
even great
no,
great. Hell, grandparents.
it
Like,
won't no boyfriend. So it's just this new.
I think a lot of that come from. I feel like it kind of come from women being having to be super independent. Because if you think about it, I don't know where like the disconnect started with like black men and wanting to leave their families. I don't know where that started or like
Yeah, because what
how the
happened
cycle
to
began. But it's like I feel like it has caused a lot of women to have to be super independent because the dad left, so
that's
now it's
a
like a
good
single family home.
question.
And the same can go for dads too, because it's some moms out there who not good moms. Like same thing.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. And I can name a few, but whatever. But that's really a good question, what you just said. And I'm still here like
On the
resonating.
ponder pundit. Same. Cause this I'm trying to figure it out too. Where the hell y'all go? But
I don't know. So a question to the people, like, when did that become a thing?
right.
Like like when did
Please
fathers
comment on this YouTube video and let
yeah.
me know.
When did that become normal? Like, because in me, and Nelson and Shauna said that, I teach social studies and men were always like, and I teach ancient history, and men were always the head of the household. Women sat home. So when
It's still a
did,
patriarchy, low key, because women don't even get paid the same as men, still till this
yeah,
day. So
but I'm talking about to the non existent mothers and fathers because
true.
in broken families, because what happened to family, you know? So let that start.
It's
I
beyond
mean, like, let that stop with you.
true.
I know it's gonna stop with me. 'Cause I
Determined.
know that, and that is a life goal I set for myself.
Hmm.
That's why I don't have kids. Like, that's a life goal I set for myself. And again, there's nothing against it, but that's just something personal for me. Like, I want to break that cycle,
Hmm.
so that's something that I'm doing for myself. I want to personally raise my family,
Right.
mother, father, kids, and my dog. It is what it is.
Mocha.
But the next one is poverty. Why? Why do we remain in poverty? Why?
I feel
Why?
like
Why?
there's
Why?
a
Why?
lot of underlying reasons to that because you got to think there's systemic reasons, there is generational reasons as well because black people don't have or didn't have in the beginning. I can't say that now, but in the beginning, I feel like black people didn't have the resources to create generational wealth like white people did. Because you got to think
Mm-hmm.
they started out as slave owners, so they had these big ass houses and these big ass plantations, and black people were still considered 3/5 of a person. So in a way, we already started behind, way behind. But now
We have the resources,
you do.
so it starts now. Like, and I get it. It don't come as easy to some as it does for others.
Mm.
I definitely get that, and I'm one of those people. It didn't come easy, but I can guarantee that it's worth having. So again, you don't have to stay that way.
Mm.
We all wake up with the same 24 hours. If you really, really, and I don't give a fuck if nobody else don't believe in you. Believe in yourself.
Right.
Make it happen.
Right.
I mean, and that's just and that's why I asked the question, why do we stay in poverty? And I know some situations may be very, very circumstantial. And I'm not knocking those situations because I do not know what they are. But the majority that we able. We
I
can
feel
get
like it's
up.
a comfort zone.
Yeah, you get
It's a
comfortable
comfort zone
because
for me.
you are comfortable in that cycle. It's
Mhm.
about oh, that's a why are we so comfortable being comfortable?
Especially not in a society like this. Like,
Let that resonate. Why are we so comfortable being comfortable?
you know what I learned when I was in England? I was going through like the worst time there because that was when I figured out I had depression or whatever. And while I was there, they kept like moving me to different places and doing all this extra stuff, and I was getting irritated. So one of my higher ups, or I should say Sergeant Glover, shout out to you, Sergeant Glover, but she was basically like, I was told that you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And ever since she told me that,
Exactly.
like, I've just been thinking, like, whatever situation I'm in, it's not going to last forever, but I do need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable because that enables growth.
Exactly, because if you are comfortable, you're not waking up tomorrow trying to figure out how you're gonna get better because I'm good with what I got going on. You're not growing.
Right.
And right now, I can tell you right now, y'all, I'm in a very uncomfortable season right now. Like very uncomfortable.
Okay.
I don't know what
Period.
to expect. I don't know how to expect it, but
It's a lot of
I'm just
choices.
putting my faith in the Father Himself, and I'm just letting it. It is what it is. But we have to stop being comfortable. Being comfortable. Like seriously.
Get up,
No,
take some
that is
risks,
not. So I think that's why we stuck.
possibly.
Because just because your parents don't got it, I
Don't
get
mean you
that.
can't have it.
It's harder for us because that's me. It's harder, but it's people out there that will help you. It's resources available. Like you just got to have it in your mind. Like you got to be a go getter.
Hmm. And you gotta
Like
work 10 times as hard if you black.
yeah,
You gotta work
but
10 times harder.
it's most definitely rewarding. So that
It's
oh
absolutely
Lord, the next one I'm not ready. Mm. The generational curse of abuse and molestation. And one thing that I've learned teaching is that, like I was ignorant to the fact, just thinking that it happens a lot in the black community. Oh, it's just us. It's not just us. It happens a lot in poverty, like, or in like minority communities, like urban areas. Like, it happens a lot. But the one thing I can say about that is, y'all, please protect your babies. Stop letting everybody be around your kids.
hmm everybody is not equipped to watch your child. And I feel like as a mom, you have that instinct and that intuition to know who and who should not be around your children. Because I feel it all the time. And your kids will tell you too, if you listen. Liam is only 2, Luca is only 8 months. Liam and Luca can feel a vibe. I don't
Kids
care
know.
what the
Kids
situation is.
know.
Like, they will feel a vibe. All they
And
do
it's
have
just
to do is
about
cry. Like, they be mm-mm. So if they know, then I don't know what it is about parents and not trusting their kids whenever like their kids are telling them, "Hey, mom, Uncle such and such touched me here. Don't tell nobody that. Don't say that out loud." Blah blah. Like,
no, it's about and honestly I think that's just what they were taught. Like because it's it probably happened to them. And
mm,
you know, a lot in our communities or families, like it's normal to sweep that shit under the rug and that shit has to stop. Like and stop ignoring the signs.
please.
Know your kids. Like learn to communicate with your kids, because you may think that your kid is acting out, or and instead of getting to the root of what's really going on with your kid, like that's a sign they're begging for attention.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them what's wrong, like, and that's what it is, and give them that safe space to make them feel vulnerable enough to tell you what it is. And honestly, that's the relationship that you should be building with your kids from a child. Like,
Don't judge them for that either. Like when they tell
no,
you what's going on, don't judge them for that, because I think that's a big thing in the Black community too. Like if you go to your parents crying about something, they just automatically want you to be quiet about it and don't want to talk about it. So like I can't say in my household this happened a lot. My mama worked a lot, but I just know that there were times where I felt like I wasn't being heard. Like if I was trying to say like, hey, this happened with this or blah blah. Like if I really wanted to talk, I sometimes I felt like I couldn't talk to my mama because she did work a lot. One, two, she was a very independent person, and my mom is not emotionally available all the time. So
same,
it was just hard talking to her
same.
or trying to talk to her. Now I feel like we have a better relationship. But then like I didn't feel comfortable talking to my
The
mama about
safe
a lot of
space.
stuff.
I know I most definitely did not. Because, and then I guess like that's where it comes with that relationship, because
Mm,
I didn't feel comfortable, and practically because, I stayed, well, I had the option to stay with my mom, or if I wanted to go stay with my godparents, I'm staying with them. So it's like, who do I talk to? Because I'm from here, I'm from there, so it's like no, like nobody to really talk to. And then it's just being able. I think it's just about knowing your child. You should know your child, most definitely. And allowing them to feel safe, just talking to you, like, and that's what it is.
allowing them to know that it's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel these emotions because I feel like we grow up basically like we not supposed to feel, we just supposed to do. And that's it.
Hmm.
You don't feel. And I feel like that's what causes a lot of mental health issues in the Black community because it's just like we just expect it to keep going and going and going and not talking about our problems because you complaining or you complaining too much or you whining
Hmm.
all the time. And it's like that don't even be the case. It's like it's something really going on with me and you're not trying to listen.
And that's what I mean about communicating with your child. And I can speak from that, from personal experience. Like, I can remember one time where I told my mom, I'm gonna kill myself. I know I didn't want to kill myself,
Mm-hmm.
but at this point, like, it's something that I need to tell you. Like, so I
Yeah.
don't want to kill myself, but I
But
want
I'm
you
looking
to
for
ask
encouragement.
me, well, why you want to kill yourself? Not tell me, and no offense to my mom, but this is just how she is if you know her. Well, kill your damn self then. That's not what I was, like that's not
So
like, I know she didn't want me to kill myself, but still, like, I was looking for that vulnerable moment,
yeah,
like for you to allow me to open up to you, but you shut me down. And
you
whenever
have
you
to
shut me
really
down,
encourage
yeah, and so whenever you shut me down now, I don't want to come tell you anything because
me.
now I'm kind of scared.
Right.
I'm scared of your reaction. So
You're
it's
not gonna
about
protect me.
it's about having that safe space where you can feel comfortable telling your
Mm-hmm.
parents, everything that's happening with you, because I'm telling you, it's not a good feeling. Um to have to deal with that alone, and just to have to harbor that, because I'm a victim of that. Like, so this is why this is super, super heavy for me, and about just being able to communicate with people about it, because this is some shit that you do not want to carry by yourself.
Yeah.
This shit has to stop happening in our communities, and y'all really just got to be in tune with your children.
Right. And
Like,
protect your babies. Like
please
kids are
protect
the
your kids.
purest
Like,
form of human beings.
protect
Like
your kids. So that abuse, and honestly, y'all, like this is the first time that I have even spoke about this outside of maybe like two people. Um, so yeah, like this is what it is. Like, but and that's because I had to harbor that shit my entire life. It wasn't until therapy where I can finally get that shit off my chest and start to put pieces of my life together. I'm starting to like make it make sense. So protect your babies. We'll get into that on another episode. Moving on to well, we kind of already talked about mental health. Um, yeah,
Mm-mm.
stop
No, no, no.
thinking.
We need to get back into mental health.
Cause stop thinking your kid's bad all the time. Sometimes they do be bad, but they don't be bad all the time. Talk to them. Communicate.
Right.
Communicate.
No, we need to get into mental health. That's a deep one. I done talked to a couple of people about mental health recently, and I think a lot of it does stem from childhood because a lot of people think, well, oh, well, since this happened at work or whatever, then that's what kicked it off. Like that's what enabled it. But it's like no, basically, work is just like the tip of the iceberg for me. Everything else is my inner child screaming about shit that
Mm.
I couldn't resolve. So I think I knew I was depressed at a very, very young age, but I didn't know what depression was. I didn't know. I knew I was different, but I didn't know why. And then
So, yeah.
when I got older, and I was like, during the military, I had a couple bad days, but then I went to England, and that's when I really started feeling it. Like, okay, something is wrong with you because you can't get out of the bed, you missing work, you acting out, you always irritable. Like, this is more than lack of exercise or lack of sleep.
Hmm.
So when I went to a therapist for the first time, it was surreal, honestly, because it was like I ain't never ever opened up about my life to nobody or how I ever felt about anything. So talking to that therapist opened up so much subconsciously that I was dealing with that I didn't even wasn't even really consciously thinking about. So like going back to single family homes, my dad didn't live in the house with me, and that affected me a lot growing up, a lot, because it's like I went through a phase of where I was thinking like, what about me or my brother? Does my dad not like that he don't want to be in our house?
Mm.
Or just
And that plays a toll on kids.
yes. And a lot of people be you do you remember when we was in Mexico and we had this conversation?
Yes. Oh, we did have this painful conversation in Mexico. We definitely did. We opened up,
We
but
disagreed with one of our friends because
yeah,
we're from a
about
two-parent home. And she was like, it's not always all that. But for us, it was like, well, we would have liked to have that regardless of what it was like because there was two parents there. We never got to experience that.
and that's so I started making myself better and realizing better as a kid because now since you say that um I would surround myself around people who had things that I did not have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and for example, like that's why I absolutely practically lived with my godparents my entire life from a child to, yeah. But I wanted to be there because it was two parents
Mm-hmm.
in the household. And then whenever they split, now I'm like, okay, what the fuck? Oh, and that definitely like took a toll. So now it's like, but they back together though, so that's all
Right.
that. But but that kind of like that really takes a toll on kids, and I don't think people realize it because you think you're doing a good job raising your kids. You probably are, but is something from that other parent that you cannot give that child and material things that's not a void filler. That is temporary. Cause
Girl,
I've been there.
I'm
That's
still having this
temporary.
conversation with my dad. Like, I am 26 and still working through trauma from not having my dad in my life.
Right.
Still
I
working through
mean,
that. It's
let's not
difficult.
let's not talk about that. Shout out to my daddy though, but I mean,
All right,
hell,
all
here we
right.
are. If you know, you know, but I just found out who my biological father was in 2016. Yeah, it
Mhm.
was the summer going into my senior year of college.
Right.
Like, so now you see, like, whew, but we are super close. I love my daddy.
Yeah. I
So
like
shout out
y'all
to my.
relationship. It's the bomb.
It's very authentic. That's like my
Yes.
best friend.
It's the
Like
bomb. Y'all, I wish y'all could see how they interact, man.
me and my daddy, and it's crazy. But you know, considering that, you know, I just found out 4 years ago, but whatever.
They seem like they known each other all
I
their
did know him all my life. We
Oh yeah.
I've known him all my life, but just didn't know that he was my dad. But that again, we'll
Another
talk about
story
that
for another day.
for daddy issues when we get to daddy issues this season, because
Yes.
we do have an episode on daddy
So
issues.
called daddy issues.
Um, but mental health, as y'all know, I also struggle with anxiety and depression. Um, Here lately, I've been having a lot of better days, but
Praise God.
just as you said, like as a child, I knew that I was different because I always just had an attitude. And I didn't know why. And I just thought I had a bad attitude, but I got that from my mama. Because she just was like, you got a nasty attitude, but you didn't get to the root of the problem. And then I get to my adult life and found out like nah, I really don't have an attitude. I had an attitude because of this and then this and then this and then that.
All this stuff
And
childhood
that
taught me.
and I feel like if that would have been caught earlier on in my life, then I wouldn't have depression. But here I am
Man.
I'm trying to patch up shit that I didn't have no control over. And I think that's what a lot of us do. So now we are being surgeons to our own self, but that's okay. Cause this season we are going to patch all of this up. But that's
Right.
what it
I'm gonna
was.
close you up with
So
them dissolvable stitches so you can look cute at the end.
so that's when I knew that, you know, I was depressed. In my adult life when I had to go to therapy, like, yeah, this ain't it. Like, this ain't it.
It's
But
all about healing that inner child, man. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of mine probably stem from my dad not being there, but also my mom worked a lot and she still work a lot. Denise got 3 jobs still. Like she still work a lot. And I get why she do because for her it's like I don't want to have to ask nobody for nothing. Again, that strong, independent black woman.
independence, yep.
Because that's how
When
she had to be. And I understand that, but at the same time, I do kind of wish when I was younger that I was closer to my mom because now, yes, we are closer. But I feel like I needed her most when I was in high school because there was a lot of mistakes I made and a lot of stuff I did, things that I didn't
and a lot
know.
of girl, a lot of things that we did in high school
Yes, together.
that nobody knows about
Yes,
because and honestly I would have liked to have those conversations with my mama like I know this is bad but this is
right.
what happens today but now child we done swept that under the rug and we moved on with life like so we moved on with life but yes build a relationship with your babies please um so we already talked about the family secrets because stop stop it. Like, because that doesn't do nothing but continue to just torment generation after generation after generation.
Mhm.
Stop trying to protect the family.
Right. What are we harboring secrets for? Like, what?
Because,
Why are you protecting the bad person? If it is somebody bad in the family, why are you protecting that person? What is it? I don't understand.
why? I don't
Like,
know.
for instance, like we said, like when there's a molester in the family and everybody know about it, but don't nobody want to talk about it. Like it's
Talk
like,
about it. Why?
oh, this the elephant in the room, but we're not gonna address that. Why?
And come around on holidays and just think that everything is supposed to be fine. Y'all got to
Right.
stop that because, again, that makes your child uncomfortable. And then you are like, you're still not creating a safe place for your child. So now your child would never connect with you because you are not protecting them in their innocent, vulnerable moments.
Mm-hmm.
So be mindful of that. That's big. I'm glad you said that. Stop. protecting the people.
You're right.
Read every situation for what it is. That's all I got to say about that.
Mm. What's the next one? Communication.
Communication, that's big. Like, you
Mm.
just got to know how to communicate. Break that cycle. And I know that's something that I picked up. That's a struggle of mine. Not knowing how to communicate, not knowing how to express my feelings, be vulnerable. That's why I'm super, super defensive. Like, super defensive.
I always got to come back.
I always got a rebuttal. Like,
Mm.
it's hard for anybody to get all of me because I always got a shell up, and it's just because of childhood trauma. And so I don't know how to, like, I don't know how to communicate. I wasn't taught how to communicate effectively. I wasn't.
That part.
So you can't, and then now, but you do have to be accountable as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
so you can't keep using that. So, and I had to realize that, like, okay, well, dang, especially dating. Like, and I honestly think that's why I was good on boyfriends for a long time because I don't want to communicate. I want to talk to you when I want to talk to you.
And
And
when
if
I
you're
don't,
getting
I
on my
don't.
nerves, you already know, cut off, like, bye. Mm-mm.
Girl, I'm so glad you done grown out of that phase.
It's still rough though. Like, but Chad is a great communicator, so he's
Yeah.
working with me on my communication.
Shout out to my god brother, man.
So I'm getting better at
He
this communication
understands
thing.
that.
He's teaching me how to communicate with him, how to communicate with friends, family.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to him again. But yeah,
Communication is
communicate.
huge. Huge, 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 huge. That
Relate.
goes hand in hand with abuse, mental health, all
Yeah.
of that.
And honestly, all of these curses tie in with one another. Like, it's like a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this happened because this happened, and this happened because this happened. Like, that's what it is. Even when it comes down to the next one, relationships. Women, like, so women, men, we tend to be a replica of what we see as a child.
Or date or marry what you see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean by we tend to be a replica of what we see as a child
The
when it
product of
comes, like,
our environment.
in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And that has to stop. That's why I'm breaking this cycle.
Because I ain't going
Like,
through this no more.
period. I'm not. And for example, like, it was, so I was drawn to these one particular set of men, like these one type of men at one point in my life. And I could never understand why. And I'm like, and this shit never works out. Like, why do I like these type of men? Like, bro, what? And when I started going to therapy, and she put a pin in my life and started making everything make sense, this is a learned behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So now this starts with you. You need to stop that. So I did something different, and now I'm with my man, and it's like different, but it's good, and it's something completely different from what I was used to. But y'all, it's good. It's different, but it's really, really good. So that's how I'm breaking that
Glow
generational
different.
curse.
You even glow different. Coming from your
The
friend,
glow is
you
different.
look different. You glow different.
Like,
So
so
I'm happy for you with that,
thank
at
you.
least breaking that cycle anyway, because I know y'all gonna get married, so I'm not worried about that. Anyways, on to insecurities.
I think that's also a generational curse. You just got to be mindful how you talk to your babies. Like,
Or other family members. Like when we
yeah,
at,
period.
I don't need you to tell me that I'm gaining weight. Like you don't know if I got a thyroid problem or like some other shit.
Okay, like, if
Stop
you don't got
talking
nothing
about
nice
this
to
fast.
say, don't say nothing at all.
Right.
Like,
Just keep your mouth closed.
we gotta stop that. Honestly, like, and I think that's why we grow up not to like ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that starts at home. So now I know what I'm gonna do differently, and I done went through like all of these things, and I know how I'm gonna do life differently based on these generational curses. Speak life into your child. Look at your child and tell your child like your child is beautiful. So then when they go out in the streets, I don't they're not looking for validation from nobody. And I think that's what's wrong with us because now we didn't get that.
We looking at all the wrong places. And then even outside of speaking beauty or whatever it is into your child, like let your child know like you are successful, you are good at what you do, you are amazing, whatever the case is, like because there was times where I wanted to hear that as a child, like dang, are my grades good enough? Like,
Listen.
am I doing
And
nothing for
okay, so you made a good point. Like, okay, for y'all who don't know, I was a super geek. We kind of both were, but yeah, in school. And so my mom didn't really check for me because, but again, like, I still want your grades good. You know, she didn't have to worry about me because you know they was good, but I still want that relationship.
Mhm. Like
You
I want
know,
to know that you care about.
so insecurities definitely start at home.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely speak life into your kid.
Even when you mad, you got to be mindful of what you say because when you enrage, that's when people remember what you said the most. Cause I know I do. Like I'm definitely gonna remember what you say when you mad.
Right.
So
When you're
so
mad,
you
I know who
just
you are.
so you just imagine what you saying to a child when you mad. That's gonna resonate with that child, and it's gonna replay in their minds even when you're not thinking about it. Because again, that happened to me. So you thinking about it like, and this some shit that happened a long time ago. But that's
Still
so,
replaying in my head.
yeah. So speak life, prosperity into your babies.
Very
That's on that.
cool. The next one. Disciplining your children. Stop beating your child over everything. Everything don't require an ass whooping. Okay? Now some stuff do, yes. Because the Bible says spare the rod, spoil the child. Very true. But at the same time, you don't have to beat the life out of your kids. Like, that's not gonna teach them anything just because you beating them constantly. And then it's like some of y'all be beating your kids and don't even be telling you don't even be telling them why you beating them. Like
That's my whole thing. Like, I don't care when that conversation happens, but it can happen before you beat them or after. But you need to sit down with your child and talk to your child in a mellow tone and let them know why you beat them. Do you know why you in trouble? They need to know because what the fuck you beating them for if you ain't telling them why you beat and when because my mom used to do this, tell you why she beating you when she beating you. No, not that way.
right,
No,
because I'm
sit
not thinking
down
about
with
that. I'm focused on the pain, ma'am. Like
yes.
you
Sit
telling me this is
down.
not resonating right now.
Sit down and have that conversation and then y'all talk about how y'all gonna do things differently moving forward.
Mm,
That's how you work with that.
that part. And
Stop being kids.
yes, everything don't warrant a beat. Like there's so many other ways to punish your child. Make them do some push-ups, hell, anything. But it don't always have to be a beating. It don't never have to. It don't always have to result in that. Now, if they just blatantly being disrespectful and calling you out of your name and stuff, then by all means.
And these learned behaviors. Stop.
Oh,
I'm doing and I know it's hard because again, we comfortable. This is our norm. I do this every day. Life has been working doing this, but that's like life working. But that's why it's barely or you ain't progressing, you're stuck. That's why. Let go of these learned behaviors that you got from the family. It's been in the family for 600 years.
mhm.
So build some new roots. a new tree for your new family. Like, stop.
Please, sis. Plant
Plant them new seeds. Let that go. No.
no
No. And
marriage.
normalize it.
Because we tired of single family homes. I feel like a lot of people, or I don't know if it's maybe it's a Generation X thing because it started with our parents. They just
Oh no.
decided not to stay together because if you think about it, the generation before our parents was their parents. They was married, most of them. It started with Generation X. So I don't know what happened when y'all was going to Freaknik or whatever y'all was doing during that time, but you should have been trying to settle down because now look at us. Just look at us. Your kids is struggling because they didn't live in no two-parent home. And I'm not saying that that's always a healthy home, but
Yeah.
sometimes,
It's toxic.
right, sometimes a two-parent home is much better than a one-parent home as long as it's a healthy two-parent home. So
Yeah.
I feel
Very
like
well said.
if my mom and my dad would have stayed together, I would have turned out a hell of a lot better than what I am today. I mean, I'm still, you know, good, but
But okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and dig right into this question then, because since you brought that up, and I want y'all to write this question down too. We already got it written down, but you guys write it down. Do you think there's pros and cons with generational curses? Because what you said is you think that you would have turned out a whole lot better. I plead the fifth in my situation. Like, my mom and daddy weren't together,
mm-hmm.
you know, and I think I turned out fine. I went through a lot of things that, could have been prevented, but I went through those things for a reason.
True. But I
And
feel like I wouldn't have made a lot of decisions I made had my
yeah,
because I didn't learn nothing from my dad. I didn't learn nothing from him when they were split or whatever. We used to see him, and then he got married, and then things just kind of fell off. My dad used to literally live down the street from me, and I wouldn't see him for months. Like that's not normal in anybody's family.
I
But
mean, no, it's normal.
well,
It's
yeah, you're right.
it's
But
more.
I
That's the problem. Like we trying to not make it normal, but like so it's most definitely normal.
don't know. I'm heard about that.
I I can imagine,
I heard
but
about that.
I honestly think like just like you said, if I did grow up in the house with my parents, maybe I wouldn't have made the decisions that I made now for to move like and just keep growing,
Mm-hmm.
and so I use my experiences as a learning tool, honestly. Like, so it taught me what not to do. It taught me what to do differently
Mm-hmm.
to get like different results. So,
There's
you
definitely pros
know,
and cons.
yeah, so it's definitely like that shit hurt.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
he-
They're
it
there to help
hurt.
you grow.
I'm healing from it, but I turned out to be like the shit. So, growing pains. They are growing pains, most definitely.
I don't feel like the shit yet. I'm close, but I don't feel like it yet. So I won't. I'll claim it though.
And if you don't want to be married and your parents married and they forcing that on you, don't get married.
Right. If that's not what you
Let's
want,
flip the switch real quick. Like stop doing that.
right,
No. Again, create your own roots.
right. You don't always have to be what the status quo is. So like, yeah, we said normalize marriage, but at the same time, if that's not what you want, then you don't have to do that. And the same for kids too. Like I feel
Yeah.
like it's very rude to ask somebody, you don't got no kids yet?
Now
Like
that right there is rude as F because
you don't know what this person is
exact.
going through. This person probably can't have no kids, probably miscarried multiple kids, probably can't carry kids at all.
Get
Don't
out women
kids,
business.
like so
Don't worry about why they ain't got no kids. They just ain't got none. Whenever they get some, you'll see them.
right.
Maybe.
I
Maybe.
just think that's so rude. So it's like don't
That's
be
most
asking people
definitely
why they ain't
rude.
got no kids yet, and normalize people not having kids. If I don't want no damn kids, I don't want no kids.
That's
I feel
true.
like that should be what it is. Some people just don't want kids because they don't feel like that's for them, and that is okay.
Just like my nana say, how we gonna fix this is letting them people business alone. That's what she said. Let them people business alone.
Real
Worry about
Southern.
you. Um, we gotta heal from family.
Yeah. Family is loving, but can also be very hurtful in different situations as well. And sometimes it's not intentional because, like we said, it's learned behavior.
Yeah,
So they only
this is
doing what they know to be right, quote
that's true.
unquote.
But
Still
I
some
mean,
accountability though.
yeah,
You
most
still do
definitely.
that.
And I think so. Sometimes I think parents know that I'm the parent, or they know that well, I don't know no better. So, and sometimes that's okay, but we can't keep using that whenever you do know better, but you just want to keep using that excuse
Right.
as you not to get better.
When are you gonna educate yourself so you do know better?
We
Like,
got to stop drowning in that,
hmm
because after a while that gets old, because you know.
or that, or I hate the excuse. Well, I didn't know. Well, you didn't give me the chance to tell you neither. So how would you have known? I don't like that. When it's like you have an issue or an issue comes up later on in life, and it's like, oh, well, I didn't know that. But it's like you didn't give me the chance to tell you what was going on with me, or to tell you why I am the way I am now, or to tell you why I don't want to come home, why I don't want to be around certain people. You didn't give me that option because you didn't communicate with me.
You didn't
You
even
or you
ask.
didn't believe me.
No. And you didn't make me feel, again, safe.
Right. So
Like, to even
what
want to
makes
talk
it
to you. I'm not going to talk to you.
right? Right.
You'll be the last person I talk to. What? Why would I talk to you? Um,
Oh,
but
stop forcing religion
mm,
because it's okay if you got a family member that don't want to be Christian. For instance, my family has a group chat, right? And one of my cousins always talk about how like he don't believe in God, whatever the case is. But I got an uncle in the group chat who always like, well, I'm just gonna pray for your demented ass and blah blah blah. You going to hell, just normal black family stuff. But I, whenever he be in the chat saying all that stuff, I don't ever get mad because I keep an open mind. But also, it's like that's his preference. Stop
right.
trying to make him believe in something he don't want to believe in, because that's what's wrong with the community as well. Y'all done churched the hell out of us. You took us to church and you were still sinning and didn't set no real example, but you still want us to go to
First
church?
of all, we went to church because that was normalized, but I don't think we went to church, but nobody really got church.
Right,
We
exactly.
went,
Y'all was
but
just going to be seen to say you was going to church, because I feel like a lot of church when I was younger was a waste of time.
and me and my sister talk about this a lot. Um, I really did not like, and I went to church. I was on the choir. I ushered. I did all of that, but I really still did not know God until my adult life. Like, that's
Girl,
when I built
okay.
that relationship with Him. Like, I didn't learn how to pray in church
Same.
because I honestly I was too busy trying to figure out how can I talk to Him like that.
Right. I feel
I'm trying to learn skill.
also like I feel like for me, like we went to Bible study, and you can ask Chaddies. We went to Bible study every Wednesday. I couldn't tell you one thing that I remember one night specifically, and it was because they talked about the Illuminati and how it was a sin to be in a sorority or a fraternity. So they was like, oh, we need to teach y'all about the divine nine and blah blah. And I was just like, basically saying like sororities and fraternities worship pagan gods and all this other stuff. But I'm like, I feel
As
like a sorority and a fraternity are the last people you have to worry about.
I
worshiping,
cannot
worshiping anything, okay?
I can't wait until the episode on spirituality. That's gonna be dope.
Oh, it's gonna be juicy.
Yes.
Oh
Um
my god.
so but yeah, you actually have to heal from family and how to heal properly. Um you you try it. I'm not sure if it worked. You know, it worked for me.
Hmm.
But yeah, like have you actually sat in your trauma? Like actually sat in it and started connecting the dots and making your life
Hmm.
make sense. Like making what you think is horrible in your life, making that make sense. Because it's not horrible for no reason. Like find that reason that made it what it is. So
Pull it
sitting in
out
that
by the
trauma.
root. Like, get all the way to the
Yeah.
root. Stop just touching the surface of everything. Because you're never gonna figure out why you're going through what you're going through or why you might be sad because you're not looking deep enough. That really be the issue. Like it's like, oh, I only want to look from this perspective and this perspective. Everything else hurt too much, so I don't want to talk about that. You're not gonna never get past
Shauna.
that level.
Shauna. Y'all. See, this is why you are me. Like, because and I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, I already revealed the molestation, whatever. But y'all, I sat in that for years. This happened like the very first time happened to me when I was 5. Yeah, right. My
Okay, now
mom
I didn't know this.
my mom don't even know this, but um the very first time it happened when I was 5 and Shauna, I buried that. Like I
How
buried
did you
that.
even cope?
I don't know. And
Because my
then
mind is
I
blown.
don't know. I forgot about it. Like because it became normal. It became baggage. It became weight. Um and then one day I was watching an episode, I want to say of Law and Order, and it just became a trigger. And I just like broke down and had this really, really huge anxiety attack. And I called my dad. And when I called my dad, that's when, and I didn't want to tell him because again, nobody knew. So he and my sister, because me and her have these heart to hearts all the time. So and it was like 12 o'clock a.m. and I'm home alone and I'm just going bananas. And I forgot about it and I watched that episode and I instantly remembered, like it came back. I don't know what triggered it to come back. And I just, whew, it was bad. And I called him, had to tell him, and I know he didn't mean anything by it, but it's about communication. And I knew, like, I absolutely know that he had my absolute best interest. But him being a parent, and of course, I told y'all, I didn't find out he was my dad until what, like 5 years ago now. So his first response was, "Oh my goodness, why you just waiting so long to tell somebody?" And I'm just like,
Not,
okay.
not the question.
Um, I know you didn't have no ill intent by that, but again, like that's about that communication because I didn't need him to ask me questions. I just needed him to listen. And sometimes like that's what you have to do, like to be there for people, just listen. So I just honestly needed him to listen and to listen to me cry and to listen to you tell like well listen for me to tell you about this childhood shit that happened and you was nowhere to be found during that time, like not, I mean you was around but not my dad, you know. So just listen. But
5.
yeah, we harbor that. So and that's what
I'm
I mean by
stuck on
like
that. 5.
getting to the root of the problem. Yes, 5. And once you get to the root of the problem, my life sense started making sense. So you got to sit in that trauma and piece it together. But 5, yes. So heal it.
I'm
And
glad you made it through.
girl, it's been a journey. It's still a trying journey. Like just it is a journey, y'all.
Damn, 5.
So I challenge you to identify those things that, like those childhood traumas, or yeah, it don't even got to be childhood traumas because I'm not gonna make your life my life.
Right.
Nah,
Could be
but
anything.
those areas that you know that they feel like dead weight. Let's get to the bottom of that. Like, but after I released that and after I went to therapy, I felt so much better. It felt like I was super, super light. And I'm like, bruh, I really went this long. And it was like, I forgot about it.
And normalize therapy. Normalize that in the Black community. Normalize therapy because there is nothing wrong with going to get help when you don't know where to go or when you don't have a place to turn. Because it
No.
is the worst when you don't have nobody to listen to you and you really feel like you need to talk.
It
Because
just,
then you start turning to other things.
and that's where we get to void feeling. Like, that was a learned behavior. I learned how to feel voids. I didn't learn how to heal properly
Mm,
because nobody taught me how to heal. Nobody taught me how to talk. Nobody taught me how to communicate.
right.
So we pick up the habit of feeling voids. We all feel voids. Whether it's sex, whether it's shopping, whether it's some type of addiction,
Mm-hmm.
drugs, alcohol, it doesn't matter. But we feel voids to get rid of that temporary pain. But then 3 days later, I still got an attitude. You still got an attitude because it was okay for this moment, but you really didn't deal with the problem. So that's why you have to sit in that trauma, internalize it, and make the necessary steps to move forward to grow from it.
This is such a mental health episode. Like, I know it's about family ties, but a lot of this shit leads to bad mental health. And I cannot get that off of my shoulders. Like,
Okay.
I need y'all to know that it is okay to not be okay.
Yes.
It is okay to not be okay.
Oh, and it is okay to tell people you're not okay because that's my biggest
Right.
thing. Like, people be like, "You okay?" Mm-hmm.
No, if you
I'm
ain't okay,
not.
you ain't okay. And that is all right because there is a bunch of days when me and Fatty have not been okay at all.
Girl. My friends already know my bad days are bad. My friends and my family both know. But
Dang, I feel like you put on a face because
yes.
I feel like when I was in England and I had that suicide attempt, nothing bad was going on in my life. Now that I think about it, I had just promoted when I was friends with Aaliyah. She was about to have her baby, and that was going to be my godson. Like, there was nothing bad going on. I was going PCS that year, so I was going to move and be with Eric. There was nothing bad going on. I was just depressed and was in the freaking hospital crying because I was still living. Like, that type of shit needs to be talked about because at the end of the day, nobody is gonna know what's going on if you don't tell
Mhm.
nobody. My mama didn't
And
know
that
none
and
of
that's the thing. Yeah. And for a long time I didn't talk about, like being depressed. I didn't. Because I mean, I didn't know.
right. We not
So,
educated on it.
yeah, and so until I could, and family, friends, y'all gotta respect that. When people tell you that, they like give them their space. Like, respect them telling you that they're depressed and not making it about you and feeling, and now you feeling like a villain or a victim because they ain't communicating how you want them to communicate. Right now, it's not about you, it's about them.
Shout out to my mama. Cause I had a really bad episode when she came here the last time. Remember I told you I was like I had like a really
Mm-hmm.
bad day? So shout out to my mama. I love you, mom, because she was willing to take more time off work and stay with me to help me get
Right.
through that
Mm-hmm.
time. And I was proud because I was like, dang, we ain't never been close like this to where I
That's
can sit
good.
and cry in front of your face and you not judge me for it.
Mm. That's that's a growth step. One day. Moving on. So, okay, so we got some questions for you guys.
Yes.
And we're just gonna give our responses, but I want you to write these questions down and I want you to generate a response and then we are going to interact more on our Instagram post, well, Instagram story after this episode. Well, the day after this episode. So the
Mm-hmm.
next day. So the first question, Shauna, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
When you hear the word or phrase generational curse, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? How does it make you feel?
I think of a bad cycle that needs to be broken when I hear generational curse. But the first thing that comes to mind is Black people.
Hmm. Same. So the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear generational curse is this is some BS. They and I immediately think about, but the very first thing that comes to my mind is molestation, and I think that's because I personally experienced that, but and I immediately get kind of like cold. So like to even hear the word generational curse is almost like a trigger for me, honestly, because it's so much baggage that comes along with generational curses that pretty much
Mm-hmm.
shape your identity in your adulthood, and that's scary. So I don't even like to hear the word generational curse. That's just my opinion.
Mm.
Second question: why do we feel so guilty when it comes to family and putting them in their place?
Because I think family will always hold a different space in your heart compared to anybody else. So when it comes to having to let family down easy or having to kind of tell them like, hey, I need my space, you feel bad because you love those people. But you telling somebody that you need your space or that you need time don't mean you love them any less. It's just you gotta love you more if you want to get better.
Mm, that's good.
So if you don't love you more, then how are you gonna grow? You can't keep pouring into family all the time because family ain't gonna always pour into you how you pour into them. They don't never have the same energy, at least from
I
my
like it.
perspective.
They don't. And sometimes family gets upset whenever you do decide that you're going to do something different, that you do
Mm-hmm.
decide you're going to break a generational curse. And that's
Like, why are
fine.
you doing that? Why
That's
you do
fine. And if they knew better, they would do better.
that?
So do not let nobody keep you from being happy or doing what makes you happy or from growing, because they will make you feel guilty, and then you will be stuck. And here we are again, you having a baby, and we doing the same thing. And now it's left up to this child to break something that you could have controlled. So let it just start with you. That's how I look at it. Like,
That part.
because when I do, conceive, my child didn't ask to be here, so I'm not going to make them pay for mistakes that, I mean, of course, it wasn't up to me to correct them, but I'm going to be an adult and I'm going to correct those mistakes. So just make it start with you.
Right. So my child can have an easy life because y'all be putting burdens on these babies before they even come out the womb. And that's what's
That
crazy.
they be stressed like, Lord, can I just stay in a
Yes,
little
get
while
the rest
longer?
coming
Look,
out.
I can hear her stress and frustration. I do not want to go out there.
That's why some of y'all be pregnant for so long. Cause them babies don't be wanting to deal with it.
Okay. Next question. Whew. So these are the two final questions. So why do you think it is so hard to break the cycle? And what is preventing us from breaking the cycle?
I think you answered it, sis. Being comfortable with being comfortable. So we gotta be comfortable with being uncomfortable to break the cycle.
Hmm.
You gotta take a risk at some point. And you don't even gotta be no big risk. Like it can just be, okay, my family got high blood pressure, so I'm going to take the necessary precautions and
Hmm.
start working out. So I don't develop high blood
And
pressure.
that's the thing, because I know my family is big on the breast cancer, so I go faithfully to get, you know, so that's a nice perspective. I like the way you put that. Yeah.
It's all about starting small. You don't got to start large. Like, don't go out tomorrow and be like, okay, I'm going to start a new bank account and I need $10,000 in 2 days. Like, just start small in small places. Start recognizing, like she said, the traumas, sit in it, heal from it, and realize where you need to break that cycle for your family to
And
continue.
actually heal and stop feeling voids because that is temporary. Um,
Temporary.
so Shauna pretty much said it like our family ain't good family. And if you growing has to deal with something like cutting them off or just dealing with them from afar, that's fine. And do not let them guilt trip you like you doing something wrong or it's mandatory that you gotta mess with them because you no. I can love you.
Mhm. From a distance.
Um mm,
But a revelation, something on your mind.
yes. So if you wanna like really, really like heal from a situation, you have to address the issue. So internalize it, address it, address the parties that's involved, and respectfully express your feelings. And it's about learning how to express your feelings, and then you have to forgive those people who have hurt you. I'm not saying forget, and I'm not saying go out and hang out with these people that hurt you. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. But for you to like really, really heal and be able to move on and look at this person and not get furious or not feel like scared or intimidated, you have to forgive that person.
For your own sanity.
Yeah, forgive, but baby, please. And depending on the situation, it's probably gonna be impossible for you to forget anyway. Cause me now, I never forget. But forgive those people who've hurt you and move on and bless just break these cycles. Period.
That part. Well, how do you feel, ma'am?
I feel good actually. Shout out to my sister. Um, I'm actually wearing her sweatshirt. You can get the merch Beyond Your Beauty, and it's BEAUTEA. And honestly, she has a nice nonprofit organization for females where young adolescent girls where you can actually they can actually start breaking these curses early because that's what she's like focused on because me and her are the same person too. My sister Ashley, but they again, it is Beyond Your Beauty, and that's BEAUTEA. So if you got a sister or a little sister, a little cousin, a niece, a little cousin, whomever that maybe feeling insecure or just need that extra push to feel loved or to make her feel like she's worthy,
Mhm.
holler at my sister. She is accepting enrollment. So holler at my sister. She is on Instagram and Facebook.
And the last shout out goes to, do y'all like steak? You like steak? You like steak.
I like say medium well. Thank you.
So shout out to Namaste on the Grill by Monica. She out in Vegas, but she makes steak rubs so she can ship anywhere. So make sure y'all check her out. It's Namaste on the Grill on Instagram. And I think she got a Facebook too. So Namaste on the Grill. Her name is Monica Nelson. She into food. She be cooking all this nice stuff on the grill. You gotta follow her. Your mouth gonna be watering.
Send it to me
I will.
on IG.
I will.
Yes.
The steak rub is banging. Try it out.
Well, I
You
hope
got
you
anything for
guys
the people?
learn some things. I hope you guys actually dig into those inner traumas, those areas that you know that you need to grow in, those areas that's just been weighing heavy on you. Let it go.
Mhm.
That's the first step to growing. Let it go. I challenge you. I dare you to let it go. And I want to hear about it, honestly.
I hope this episode really touched some of y'all because there's a lot of people who are struggling with this subconsciously and don't even know, and probably just realize it listen to this episode.
Yeah,
So,
and I don't know if you are a victim of sexual abuse, molestation, any of that. If you haven't talked about it, I just honestly hope that this made you feel lighter, because it made me feel lighter being able to just share it with you. Because for a long time, I was you. I didn't know how to talk about it. It was very uncomfortable. I felt nasty, dirty,
mhm.
like ew. But it's not you. So I hope you feel better, or hope you even come forward to talk to somebody about it, heal from it. And Lord bless those nasty men who did that to
Or
you.
women. Yeah.
Okay, we just gonna let God deal with that. Forgive, but never forget.
Very true. Oh, and if you are feeling suicidal, always contact the suicide prevention hotlines 24/7 at 1-800-273-8255. Well, that's all we got for y'all today. But I hope
Again,
you're out of this.
like, share, subscribe, get a journal if you did not already, and a ballpoint pen. Please document your weekly goal this week
Mhm.
for the growth challenge and still work towards that long term goal. We're gonna check in on y'all growth challenges on next week. Also on um the Instagram and Facebook. Check in with
Right.
us. Let us know.
Just comment regularly. We be on it.
And subscribe.
Yes. Always sending you guys love and light. See you next episode.
Holla.